Welcome to another edition of Progress and Promise. Spring in Florida public schools means one thing: testing season. While the state bureaucracy busies itself figuring out what the next version of the standardized test will be, teachers, parents, and students are gearing up for the test that will provide a snapshot of what they have learned this year and how far they still have to go. So with me today are some folks from one school in Escambia County that has every excuse on paper to not do well, but whose students have been quietly building a culture of success and community inclusion for several years. Oakcrest Elementary School is on Hollywood Avenue. Its campus is behind the crumbling remains of what was Brownsville Middle School, but the message of what the staff there is doing is getting a broader audience. Oakcrest has won national recognition for its positive behavior support program, a behavior modification program that has decreased referrals and discipline problems at the school. Principal Denny Wilson has been asked to speak at several professional development and peer conferences about what is going on at his school. Last year, 5th grade teacher John Herber was named one of People Magazine's Teachers of the Year for the showing in science that his students made on state standardized tests. The school, which was just 19 points away from a B on the state grading scale last year, was given an F on the same scale in 2006. Denny Wilson and Leanne South, the family and community liaison at the school, are here with us today to talk about what's going on at Oakcrest and the lessons that their work could hold for schools throughout our community. Denny, thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate it. I know you're very busy.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Anytime I can talk about Oakcrest, I'm here.
Well, it's a wonderful story, and I'm so glad that we have a little bit of your time that you can share with us. You have been kind of the man about the education world this past school year. You've done a lot of traveling and a lot of speaking at peer conferences to tell the story of Oakcrest. How's that treating you?
It's out of my comfort zone. Public speaking is not what I feel like I do best, but I feel like talking about Oakcrest is good for the school, it's good for the community, and ultimately the students. So that's the main reason I step out of my comfort zone and do it. That's why I'm here today.
Yeah. Well, it'll be easy. We'll be easy peasy for you, I promise.
Okay.
What kind of tell us sort of the highlights of what the message you try to convey to folks who don't know anything about your school or Pensacola or Escambia County at large. What's kind of the message that you want people to take away from your speeches?
I think the main thing that I want people to take away when I talk about Oakcrest is that is the motto that we came up with at the very beginning when I first got there: is every student, every day, whatever it takes. And that means that we will do whatever it takes to make sure that our students are successful. And sometimes that involves maybe doing some things a little different that maybe you wouldn't have to do at every school, but it's required there.
Your background, your professional background, is in social work, and do you think that gave you a different set of tools for the principalship toolbox? Right.
I didn't know that I was going to be a principal.
Yeah, you took kind of a long way around to get there.
And my bachelor's is in social work, and my master's is in marriage and family counseling from New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. So it is different background, but it's both of those degrees and experiences I think have allowed me to be successful at Oakcrest.
How are you measuring success? Means different things, especially in a school kind of setting. There's a good grade on a test, there's a good showing on a state standardized test, but the families at Oakcrest have there's a longer row to hoe there than there is at other schools.
Right.
How you and I have talked about how it's important to measure the small victories that you get every day. How did you build that culture with your teachers?
I think part of it is when you go into something and it's new to you, you don't really know everything that has to be done. And I think part of that experience of me learning going in, that just having parents starting to come and feeling welcome was a big step.
Yeah.
And I knew that, you mentioned earlier that the F grade, that was my main task, was not to be an F school anymore. But I've always felt like that if I got the opportunity to work as a principal and I wanted to be in a school that had some challenges, that was what I wanted to do. that I knew that I needed to get the parents involved, and I needed to get people behind a vision and a mission. And so the little things are increased parental involvement, making sure that parents feel welcome. The first measure of success was a huge turnout at our very first open house. And we've continued that, where parents have felt welcome. And it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been fast.
Right.
It took a couple of years to get to the success that you're starting to hear about now. But the little things are just behavior.
Yeah.
When you walk down the halls, that people see that students are actively engaged, that it's there's not chaos, that but there's people engaged and students want to be there.
And
so,
I mean, that is a perception that I think people have maybe of elementary school in general, but elementary schools in certain neighborhoods probably too, that it's just kind of a little bit of madness. But Oakcrest has a really great behavior modification program that you have won a national recognition for now for the second year. Talk about some of what the PBS model has done for your students.
Well, the PBS model, the Positive Behavior Support program, is we were introduced a couple years ago and given the opportunity, along with some other schools, to be a pilot school, and now there's many schools that are doing it. But it's really refocusing, and instead of focusing on students that are not making good choices, you make a shift and focus on the students that are making positive choices.
And they earn, like, you have currency, right? Like
we do. We have Eagle Bucks,
yes.
Eagle Pride Bucks, and they're able to purchase things in a school store.
But you get those for
you get those for
rules.
You get those for following the rules. You get those for doing things that you should be doing. Just like any system that we do that, you kind of flood that system in the beginning and reward lots of different things. And then after that, you tend to be able to pull back on some of those things and praise and other things that will take place of that. But it's been very successful. We were the first school to be awarded in Escambia County the Gold Award last year, and then 2 years ago, and then this past year, another school, Warrington Elementary, joined us in that. And
that's great.
So it really does work, and I think you can tell a difference in those schools that have that system.
And I know that there are similar programs, I think, at Washington High School. Escambia High School has a PBS model that they're making some progress with. So I think that's great. It's giving attention to kids for doing the right thing instead of giving attention to kids who act out. And children want to go with the flow. They want that recognition.
Exactly.
What do they get with their Eagle Bucks?
Well, there's lots of different things. I mean, there's lots of our partners donate, little trinkets, little things that that seem, that maybe seem to not have a lot of value for an older student that a little kid would like, and then it becomes challenging to come up with some of those things. We have
that's a good problem.
I do donuts with the principal that students have to earn 50 tickets. I do lunch with the principal that we have a partner with one of the Peter Nowak, one of the McDonald's, has helped me with that. So lots of different partners help us come up with the things that that students want to do and earn.
What kind of feedback are you getting from people who hear you when you go out on the speaking circuit? Because I guess it's a circuit now.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're making it sound like I've done it several times. I've been in Nashville, and I've had an opportunity to speak in Oklahoma City. I thought it was going to be a group of about maybe 50 principals, and it ended up being 5,000 people. It was their whole district.
Wow.
So that was that was
I'm
different.
sure you weren't nervous at all. I'm sure you did great.
I was very nervous, but really, to me, I like to talk about that to work in a school is hard. To teach is hard. To me, I view it as a calling. I view it that it's a mission. So that's really what I try to leave people with. That what they do is of great purpose, and it's really worthwhile.
And obviously, for folks who are not maybe familiar with Oakcrest, the kind of profile of the average student, or the profile of your families, what kind of demographics are they like?
Oakcrest is located off W Street and off Fairfield, and like you said, on Hollywood Avenue, and it's a neighborhood that I think often is overlooked, and that it's one of those places where there's a lot of challenges, so most of our students come from families that work hard, that try to do the best they can, but have a lot of challenges.
And that is one of the great things about your story, is the way that you've been able to bring those families into the fold and make them feel like the school is their school, because it is their school, and they are a very important part of bringing those kids along for success. And we are going to be joined in a moment by Leanne South, who's going to talk some about how she's able to help make that happen. Stay with us.